E.T. slamming beer before lunch is my spirit animal. It's Saturday, I'm Akorn. Welcome back to the channel and to this week's episode of Gen X and Millennial Memes. Hit that like and subscribe, and let's get into today's show, starting with the AkornTV Weekly Puzzle. The clue is commercial slogan, and the letters RSTLNE are now showing on the board. So drop your guesses in the comments and stay tuned because I'll reveal the answer later on in the show. My dad's reaction when I couldn't lift a 50-pound bag of cement at the age of 7. Yeah, I think a standard bag of concrete's actually, 80 pounds? I think there's some sizes that's less than that, but... You know, you're gonna waste the entire day when you see these chairs. Yeah, or anything remotely like it, because most of the time, for one, you're usually in a doctor's office or a hospital. Crap, you're old. Yeah, it's real funny there. Got cupcakes made with the poop emoji, and the big cake is a big roll of toilet paper. People with office jobs. It sure was hot today. Construction workers. Yeah, that is for sure. We've definitely had some hot days this year, though. Growing up in the 70s and 80s, I really thought quicksand would be a bigger issue in my life. Yeah, it sure was awful popular in movies and TV shows back in the day. How many of you guys remember sun tea from back in the day? This photo here was sent in by Russ, and he's making either a half or a 1-gallon jar of sun tea. 80s kids had to knock on the door and ask if your friend was home. Yep, sure did. You couldn't just text them like you can today. If you can't read this, the school system has failed you. Yeah, that is for sure, but it's in a whole lot more ways than just about cursive. A lot of the young kids today can't read, period, or read very little, far below their grade level, let alone spelling or math or anything else. Remember in Terminator 2 when Sarah Connor was thrown in a mental asylum for destroying data centers owned by Skynet? I guarantee you guys, it's coming shortly. It might not be mental asylums, but it definitely would be prison. Although I could definitely see them using mental asylums as well. Gonna see the same thing happen with flock cameras too. Back when cartoons were worth getting up for. School desks. Which one did you have in the 80s? I remember one desk that was similar to 4, and I definitely remember number 5. And actually, I even remember one school that had a desk that was similar at least to number 8. What desk do you guys remember? I'm so old, I remember when TVs were whittled straight from the tree. Yeah, and they filled them with lead too. I heard a teenager say,
"I'd die without my phone."
I almost choked on my garden hose water. This was sent in by Jane. Gen X must have finally made it to upper-level executives that greenlight products. My husband got this at the store yesterday. The original popsicle hard cherry. I don't know, guys. What do you think? Does a cherry popsicle flavored beverage sound good to you? Might be interesting to see how close it tastes to the actual cherry popsicles. If you haven't used these things, you can't fully appreciate the technology of today. While that is true, I would much rather return to the technology of the 80s. Back in the 1960s, people carried themselves differently. There was no purple hair, no nose rings, no tramp stamps. There was a sense of class, pride, manners, and dignity that many of us still miss today. Yeah, it was certainly better times. Baby boomers had Catcher in the Rye. Millennials had Harry Potter. What was the pivotal book for Gen X? By this I mean, what books were we reading for fun when we were teenagers that we most enjoyed, that most influenced us? We never had one, because that's not how you earned a free pizza. That is a fact check true. At least the part about the free pizza. My wife says I'm wrong, but who remembers metal roller skates that strapped onto your shoes? Yes, I remember them. I had a set of them. How about you guys? How many of you had a set of the strap-on roller skates? 1985. Why would anyone want that? 2026. Good question. What are they talking about? Take a listen.
You know, they say one day we'll be able to carry our phones around in our pockets and even do video calls where we can see each other while we talk.
No way. That's weird.
Yeah, that's too much. Why would anyone want to do that?
Well, that certainly is a very good question. And yet, we all do it every day now. Her eyes were the color of small potatoes. Well, that is an interesting color description, I guess, and not a very fitting one from what I can tell. Our parents always said, don't run with scissors, but somehow launching lawn darts across the backyard was considered perfectly safe. I think that I only remember using lawn darts as they were intended, like once probably. You know, we should have gotten some metal garbage can lids or something and used them like shields anytime that we lost sight of the dart when it was still up in the air. I want this reaction. Yes, yes I do. We should definitely have that emoji. Today's mood: to either get ice cream or commit a felony. Well, that is the question. Selling my old camouflage gear. Serious offers only. No time wasters. Well, that's some pretty good camo. Must be active camo, or at least semi-active. Nobody sat still through the commercials. That was your window to sprint. You had 2 minutes to hit the bathroom and grab a snack before the show came back. Yeah, that is very true, especially when it was like a movie or something. Remember the 64-ounce glass soda bottles with wraparound foam labels? Sure wish they still came in glass bottles, with the old recipes too. A couple kids asked me today what it was like for me growing up. So I took their phones, shut off their internet, gave them a popsicle, and told them to go outside till the streetlights came on. Well, if he took their phones and shut off the internet, they wouldn't know what to do. Inhaling high-dose CO2 clears Alzheimer's proteins from the brain. I don't know what they consider a high dose, but you get too high of a dose and it's going to remove a lot more than that from the brain. Regardless of whatever small dosage this would actually be, for people with memory problems, like myself, it might be something worth looking into. Maybe this is why they actually want to reduce CO2. The clue for today's puzzle was commercial slogan. Let's see how many of you got it right. The answer is the choice of a new generation, which of course was the slogan from Pepsi. Was it true for you? Which one did you guys enjoy the most? Pepsi or Coca-Cola? Drop your favorite down in the comments. And if you liked today's puzzle, come to the next AkornTV live stream hangout tomorrow night, Sunday, August the 2nd, at 7 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, where we hang out, chat, and I also host these games live, and everyone joins the game in the chat. You can search Twitch for AkornTV, or the link to my Twitch channel can be found down below in the video description. Gen X, you must select one of these cars to be your primary vehicle for the next 5 years. Alright, well, let's see. We got the Escort, Geo Tracker, the Fiaro, and a Chevette. First off, I would say that it would be down to the Chevette or the Ford Escort. But with where I live out here on this dirt road, I almost would go with the tracker. Although I never actually drove one, so I don't know if their four-wheel drive is actually any count or not. But even still, I think the Ford Escort would probably make it most of the time. And back in the day, those engines lasted pretty good, and it has a little more room than the Tracker. I don't know if the Chevette would set lower to the ground than the Escort or not, but even if it didn't, I think the Escort would still do better out here with it being front-wheel drive. I didn't survive Y2K, 9/11, swine flu, bird flu, multiple recessions, that time I woke up in a cornfield, and 2020 just to be taken out in 2026 by diarrhea lettuce. Who opens the egg carton at the store like they're conducting a full background check? Well, back in the day when I used to buy eggs from the store, sure. Otherwise, you come home and half of them's broke or missing. But these days, I wouldn't even buy store eggs. If I didn't have my chickens, I just wouldn't eat eggs at all. You're laying on the playground crying. You got thrown off the wheel of death. You got an uppercut from a 2x4. You plinkoed through this thing. You got fried by a slide at high noon. You ran behind Hannah High Swing. You could not skip 3. I was gonna say, we've probably all done these things at least once, but honestly, we did most of these things many times. You know what's never given me a parasite? I don't know. These days, I don't care if it is Little Debbie cakes or something. Who knows what could be in them? And even at the very best, the ingredients still aren't good for us. Gen X, this is for the championship. Which one was the best? Well, it depends on what you mean by the best. If you're talking about the best cough drop to actually stop coughing, I would say probably Vicks or Halls. But if you're talking about the best tasting cough drop, I think Luden's wins it hands down. What ones would you guys choose? Check this out. It's the latest thing. It's called a landline. It's got a cord and it's bolted to the wall. You'll never lose your phone again. If you're a Gen Xer or a boomer, you've walked like an Egyptian, moonwalked, walked this way, walked on the wild side, walked on sunshine, walked the line, and walked 500 miles. We've walked a lot. We're tired. Look, I don't know what Shackleberry Finn is, but one thing it definitely is not is a flavor. I have to agree. What in the world is that even supposed to taste like? And it also says it's pink. I just found this old tape, so I gave it a play. I don't recommend it at all. Head Cleaner, worst band ever. Yeah, all their tracks just made a hissing sound. Nah, but seriously, we felt like tapes sounded better after we used it. And honestly, the best thing that I found was to just use alcohol and a Q-tip. Worked far better and a lot faster. This was our air conditioning. Yeah, and the worst thing is, box fans today start out at about $25. That's like the cheapest one you can get. Fun fact, MTV's debut date is closer to the Japanese attack on Pearl Harbor than today. Yeah, it's like what, 5 years closer? That just ain't right, guys. This was sent in by Russ. He said he spotted this while walking to the laundromat. It's a 1988 Lincoln Mark 7 with 65,000 miles. It originally cost nearly $41,000, and they're asking just under $11,000. Just looking at these photos, that car looks in almost pristine condition. If it's in as good of mechanical condition as what it looks, that'd be a heck of a buy for someone who knew what they were looking at. Gen X, choose just one to bring back to life. Well, pudding pops were pretty good, but honestly, I'd probably go with tater skins. What would you guys choose? Proof that Tom Cruise is a vampire. I'd say that is potentially possible. I mean, heck, the kid not only grew up, but he got old. Everyone's saying the same thing about the new Coca-Cola font, the most self-aware thing a sugar company has ever done. And as you guys can see, the font that they've chosen is basically the Marlboro font. And as far as why they chose that font specifically, I don't know. But it did get me thinking, why are they going from their original font to a new font to begin with? In this example here, I don't think it's as apparent because only the word diet is written in cursive. However, the original Coca-Cola logo, as we all know, is their own stylized version of cursive. Well, most kids today can't read cursive. A lot of adults today can't read cursive. And maybe I'm wrong, but in my opinion, it certainly looks like that's probably the reason that they're moving to just a simple print-style font. What do you guys think about this? Have you ever taken a ride in a Volkswagen Beetle? I was considered buying one time, but it wasn't running, so I wasn't able to test drive it. If it had been a white one, it would have been kind of cool to make it up like Herbie. Most kids are raised by a parent that says, if they swing first, tell an adult. I'm a Gen X. I was raised with a parent that said, if they swing first, finish it. Yeah, exactly. And all their zero tolerance policies that the schools put in was done to teach kids learned helplessness. That you can't protect yourself, you have to call an authority figure to do it for you. It's all just a bunch of garbage. Clifford launches a cat. I think I must have missed that one. Actors before, actors now. Some of us have lived through vinyl, 8-track, cassette, CD, Napster, and Spotify. And some of us are hiding from Columbia House. Surely Columbia House has been out of business for a long time, haven't they? You don't need a colonoscopy, but I'm sending you for one because, quite frankly, I don't like you. And you guys know there are doctors that absolutely do this stuff too. I'm so old, I remember when home economics and woodshop were classes in school. They got rid of those type classes first because they taught hands-on learning with experience and skills that could actually be used in life. This is how we made juice when I was a kid. The Batman Mount Rushmore. I don't wake up refreshed. I wake up and immediately start a full inventory of what hurts. Some days, yeah. Caught this huge wasp at lunch. I'm so excited to go back to work and release it in the office building. You sure that's a wasp? It looks like one of those killer Asian hornets. Police are still searching for the artist who painted a fake tunnel under a bridge. I remember having the news article for this way back in a past episode, and you have to admit, he done a pretty darn good job too. I honestly can't blame the driver for hitting the wall. Back then, we didn't worry about going viral. We worried about getting caught. They banned dodgeball because it was too aggressive. But surviving a heavy red rubber ball to the face at Mach 3 is exactly what built the backbone of this country. Well, in a way, they're not wrong. Meatloaf said it perfectly. It was long ago, and it was far away, and it was so much better than it is today. If you'd like to help support the channel and get some great gear, check out all the new designs in the AkornTV merch store. That link can be found down below in the video description. If you enjoyed today's show, you'll love the one that'll pop up here. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe, and join me tomorrow on my other channel, AkornStash, for the latest episode of Laugh While the World Burns, which airs every Sunday. Until then, I thank you all for watching. You guys take care and stay safe this weekend. This is Akorn, over and out.